The world's strongest handheld laser. The problem with videos like this is the thumbnail is always a lie. You're like, wow, that laser looks crazy. You click it and it's like, looks nothing like this. They just made it look like that for the thumbnail. It's not. This is how it actually looks. I'm gonna find out right now.
This video is sponsored by Opera.
The legal power limit.
With an output of 250 watts, this laser eclipses the threshold for the highest laser danger rating by a factor of 500. That means that just 0.2% of the laser's power is already considered an instant blindness hazard, as well as a fire hazard. The luminosity of this laser is especially impressive as well, having more than quadruple the brightness of my 100-watt laser, as this one is a brighter sky blue color. It's funny because, even though I built this thing, part of me still finds it hard to believe that a device like this is even possible.
The hiker going through the woods. She just instantly blinded them for life. Or just bisected. Got some in half.
Let me give you a quick rundown of the features of this laser.
It can burn things?
A plastic cup is quite a bit thicker than the tape, but it doesn't seem to have much meaningful effect against the laser. The beam punches straight through it without issue.
While we're doing classic experiments, let's pop some balloons.
Whoa!
Pretty quick.
While we're doing overkill, matches are unsurprisingly no match for the laser. Slow-mo shows that they make it about 0.02 of a second before catching on fire.
That's
Newspaper
awesome.
falls in the instant ignition category as well. Just barely clipping the beam is enough to light it on fire. Any paper product is this way really, but paper bags make an especially satisfying sound from the flash pyrolysis.
That's awesome.
You might think that solder would be a challenge considering how reflective it is, but nope, it melts nearly instantly.
Wow.
A CD was the first real challenge.
Melting a penny?
Tested them with other lasers, but none of those methods ever managed to light a penny on fire. Even torching a penny doesn't ignite it, it simply melts it.
Ew.
I think the reason the laser can ignite pennies is due to extreme local heating. The zinc that's being exposed to the laser is likely reaching its boiling point faster than it can transfer heat to the rest of the penny. Then the resultant jet of zinc vapor goes on to ignite on contact with air.
All right, this video is way more badass than I thought. I'm glad you guys recommended it. This part is like most replayed.
That's what I'm not quite so sure about. But, let's give it a go. Oh, wow, it was just instantly. This thing keeps surprising me. That's insane.
The last record breaker couldn't defeat an aluminum can either, so the increase in power is pretty obvious here.
That's wild. Why don't we make this as a weapon? Why don't we make Die Another Day, the space laser? Why don't we get a fucking satellite space laser?
Right. Let's see if the laser can open up this this glass soda bottle.
What could possibly go wrong? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
That's cool. What about making a ruby?
The starting mix is the same as last time. Alumina powder with a couple percent chromia added, which I got from Nighthawk and Light's video on cooking up rubies in a home microwave oven.
What? Yeah, don't ask me about the name on that one. Alright, let's try cooking some ruby. It's sparking. I don't know if it's actually it's so
Dude,
hot.
it's so crazy
just
looking.
Glowing so brightly through these goggles. Oh wow, that is so hot. Oh my gosh. I had no idea it was like just melting it so well. It's crazy. I think I just made a huge ruby too.
What, you just making
No way. I can't believe it's gonna work this well.
Infinite money glitch?
This laser just keeps surprising me. Oh, it melted like a big old glob. I think it like beat the daylights out of the microwave actually. I had no idea that it was cooking that well. And look, it just made an enormous huge ruby. What? That's crazy. It's huge. What? It just made this giant ruby. That is crazy. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and give this guy a pluck. My gosh, it's an enormous, enormous ruby there. I'll clean that off and make another one here quick.
This turned out to be a really reliable...
Do you guys think that all precious gems came from aliens shooting their space lasers at us thousands of years ago? And that's where they came from? Interesting. Interesting. The things they won't tell you. Laser versus ice. Last one I'll watch.
What about snow and ice? One of my most common suggestions is to make a laser that can quickly melt snow off of driveways and sidewalks. But unfortunately, lasers suck at this. Snow is highly reflective, so most of the light bounces off instead of heating and melting it.
Just hits them
The
right in
bigger
eyes.
reason, though, is that ice takes an enormous amount of energy to
That's
melt.
so cool looking.
Water is incredibly
It's
stubborn
insanely
thermally.
cool looking at night
And
with the
in order
snow
to get
falling
it to
on
change
it.
phases or even
It looks
temperature,
so
you have to dump in
badass.
a ton of energy. My much bigger and stronger laser welder can slice through about anything. But when it comes to snow and ice, it hardly makes a dent. Yes, that's running at the full 2,000 watts there. Yet its effect on the snow is barely noticeable. The full power only becomes apparent when I hit something other than snow with it. In fact, this laser will melt steel faster than ice of the same thickness. Funny how that works.
That is crazy. Okay, let me see. You guys are saying his other videos. Let's just take a quick look. This guy's styropyro is his name. And he does all sorts of crazy shit. A lot of it's laser based, I'm noticing. He's got a laser shotgun, a laser bazooka, illegal blue lasers, laser keychain, handheld laser, tattoo remover, 1,000,000-watt laser, blue lasers versus green lasers, which are better, a laser sword, a death ray laser, a lot of laser stuff. Okay, what's the non-laser thing that's based? His overclocked plasma globe?
I recently got a deal on some plasma globes on eBay, and while they are pretty neat, I feel like with the right modifications, they could be a lot cooler.
Now I have a general rule that before I go tearing into stuff, I like to at least try the original product. Now what can you do with a plasma globe? Well, for one, if you put your hand on it like this, you get a little arc that goes up to your hand.
That is cool.
It's pretty cool, but I mean honestly, this isn't going to keep me entertained for that long. Like, the thing isn't even a fire hazard. Is that too much to ask for consumer electronics? Now luckily this whole fire hazard issue can be simply solved with just a roll of aluminum foil. But first, a warning. The craziness this is probably about to unfold over the next 10 minutes or so was done completely for educational purposes. In fact, if you were to try any of this stuff at home, you'd probably die. So yeah, please don't do this at home.
I won't.
A piece of aluminum foil on top capacitively couples to that inner electrode, and now you can see it can draw more current. Now, you can even pull a little arc from the surface, which is pretty nifty. Now, I wonder what it feels like on my finger. Ooh. It actually tickles. Oh wow, it's cool drawing an arc from my finger. Alright, now it's time for a more important test, and that's whether it can burn stuff. So here I have a match. And doesn't seem to be doing anything. So I cover the match in aluminum foil, that way the foil touches me and can complete the circuit through ground. So, see if it lights the match. Now it's arcing. Not quite lighting yet.
One eternity later.
Yes, there it goes. Sweet. That was actually pretty cool. Alright, now I'm bored. This thing needs a lot more power. So I'm going to tear it apart.
It's the weirdest
So I
kid
went
at
ahead
Hot
and tore down
Topic.
that plasma globe, and what can I say? I'm not impressed with this driver. I feel like Nikola Tesla, who actually invented the plasma globe, would be rolling in his grave if he saw this driver. Like, he was doing this stuff over 100 years ago, and his stuff was way better than this puny little thing.
If you go on Google and look up how to make a high voltage circuit, this is literally going to be one of the first results. It's like child's play in the realm of high voltage electronics. But regardless, this thing works by using this 555 timer here to generate a square wave signal to this power transistor. And then this feeds into this flyback transformer where the rapidly changing current causes a relatively high voltage to be produced.
Okay.
And then it's fed through this long lead here into the plasma globe.
So how do we make this thing stronger? Well, the dumb way would be to just feed higher voltage into the thing, but that's probably just going to blow the timer before anything interesting happens. So I guess the next best option is to feed a higher voltage into just that transistor itself. Or even better, use this transistor as an amplifier to feed an even bigger transistor, and then dump even higher voltage into that.
Okay.
Alrighty, so this is what the new setup looks
Well,
like.
I don't wanna see
So
how
I
it's
start by
made.
feeding the output.
I want to
Screw
see.
this driver, and instead use a ZVS driver, which is much better. And also
Okay.
use a flyback transformer that's at least 10 times bigger.
Not even the slightest glow? So that's how it's going to be, is it? You know, I guess it wasn't really the plasma globe's fault. It's probably the built-in rectifier inside that flyback transformer that's preventing me from getting nice arcs in the globe. Alright, screw this. I'm breaking out my massively overdriven car ignition coils. Because if this doesn't do it, I don't know what will.
Okay.
Alright, let's give this thing a try.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Well, it's certainly better. The noise is definitely an added bonus. But I still can't say I'm that impressed. Like, there aren't even arcs shooting out of the glass.
Out of the glass?
I think I can still do a lot better. Now, I'm sure if I were to drive those coils even harder, I could make the globe a little bit brighter, but really at that point, if this Tesla coil is any different. Alright, here we go.
Let's see.
Man, why do I even do this kind of stuff?
I don't know. The fucking weird neighbor's kid, bro. You're looking over? What is he up to? What is he cooking? That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't believe that's not fake.
Just how loud that spark gap actually is. So the new plasma globe driver clearly works, and it actually produces sparks in midair unlike the old driver. But I guess that was expected, considering this new driver draws 350 times as much power as the old one. So it's time to actually test this thing out with a plasma globe attached.
Dude, why the fuck did I get League of Legends autism and not space laser autism? Dude, you could have had a 4 million view YouTube video. Instead, you have a 38 view tutorial on climbing with Katarina in gold. You really missed out, dude. You missed out.
And I added this nail here as a breakout.
Alright, let me skip to the end.
That way I can feed the output of the coil directly into the glass. But I think I can fix this. Just like I did earlier, I'm going to stick some aluminum foil on top. That way it capacitively couples to the top of the coil. And it's funny because at these frequencies, whatever capacitance that this arrangement has is going to have an incredibly low impedance. So the arc should just shoot straight through the globe.
Shit! That's cool as hell.
Ah yes, there's that wonderful arc that I was after. It shoots 2 feet out of the top of the globe, which I think is pretty impressive. But maybe could we do even better if we add more foil to the thing? I used aluminum tape this time instead of foil, because it sticks to the sides better. And now this time I actually have 5 pieces as opposed to 1. So let's see how this thing performs.
Okay. That looks cool as hell, man. I can't believe that's not an effect. I'll fully admit that I didn't think it could look like this without digital effects. That's really cool. That's fucking sick. It kind of broke though.
You know, it's funny. You'd think after all the time I just spent building this new driver, I would have remembered to actually attach the plasma globe to the thing. But as they say, science can't move forward without breaking some omelets or whatever.
Yep.
I stuck another globe on the driver, and this time used some zip ties to keep it held down. Now for my next experiment, I want to see if I could use this thing to remotely power up another plasma globe.
Oh shit! This is clearly a more efficient way than we currently do this. I think we should get rid of all power lines in this nation and have a series of nearby power globes so that you can crackle it across. It's like wireless electricity. Exactly. And that way you can put a power globe on top of your house and it can connect from the nearest. Tesla would be proud. I think he'd already be proud by his greatest modern living descendant, Elon Musk, carrying on his legacy. I think when Tesla looks out at the world, he would say, Elon Musk is my true Lord and Savior, carrying on my ideals.
Try doing that with an off-the-shelf plasma globe. Let's give that a try with some fluorescent tubes.
All right. Oh, wait. There's something badass at the end. Wait, one more time. Okay.
Now I know what you want to ask. Is the new plasma globe a fire hazard? Well, let's test it with some very special balloons.
Just ruining a kid's birthday party. Showing up with my plasma globe, kicking it on, and burning down all his balloons at once.
Amazingly, for all the experiments you just saw, I was only running the power supply at half the power I built it for. But even so, the voltage it generates is so high that it arcs back to itself. Now on the left, it hit the grounded strike rail, but that's fine because that's what it's meant for. But on the right, the strike came back and hit the secondary coil, and it's only going to take a few more of those to completely destroy it. So in future videos, I'll be sure to add a much bigger top load, and then see if I can pull off doubling the input power. Now I feel like I'm going to get some complaints about the title of this video.
I will say all of his inventions seem to be best at one thing, which is destroying balloons. I wonder if this guy's got some connections with Quincy, son of Quincy. It feels like he's got a strong understanding of the wars to come.